Oh, it's the second map of the series, a chance for G2 to close it out now, and a chance for MockIt to bring us back to a third and final map.
All right, you're starting off on MockIt, you ban the shield, ban the Monty. No, the glass, really?
After last game?
You know G2 are going to ban the glass themselves. Why would you do that? You're giving them a free ban, and now G2 can just ban anything they want. They might, there we go, they're going to move the Ying. They just don't like playing against disruptive operators, and honestly, however it may have gone, this is a loss for MockIt. Could have banned the shield, so if you see shield play, you know who to blame for it. Maestro is going to be banned by G2, a pretty consistent ban for them, and it's up to MockIt to remove the last one. It depends, do they ban the Mira, do they ban the Pulse, do they ban the Echo? All operators are up on the chopping board, and Mira, not surprising, means we're probably not going to see Penthouse played at all, which is not surprising. The site without Mira is very difficult to defend because there's so many ways to as well be able to attack it. And even when Mira is available, if you have control of the bottom floor, you're very easily going to just destroy the floorboard with a Buck. Buck is such a huge operator on this map. Hell, for people that think, oh, you have to have a Heart Breacher, why didn't nobody pick Thermite when we were playing on Coastline? That's actually a good decision because you can literally dry run this entire map, no matter the site, with only Soft Breach, and you can still do the work. And guess what? Monty picked first, changed into Dokkaebi, because Fabian will refuse to play the Monty, and he's just always going to run the Dokkaebi. Guess what? You want to roam? You want to play that Pulse somewhere in the bars? You're not going to be able to do much, because they're going to hunt you down. Dokkaebi, Jackal.
Yeah. That Pulse is not getting anything done this round.
And if he does, that's Corey showing how skilled he is. Because it is so difficult to pull off these sorts of plays when you literally have half of the entire team trying to hunt you. Guess what? You're going to get Jackal tracked, you're going to get called by the Dokkaebi, and you're going to have the Ashe of Kanto Roketi, no less, firing into you.
The IQ also sees the tracker when it's out as well, right? So you have that to deal with also, as Goga at the same time can also be able to spot this out. So if Corey, as you were mentioning, as Corey goes unnoticed, it's definitely either a big mistake from G2 or a testament to Corey's own capability to lurk around these guys.
The Office having quite a bit of utility put into it. Oh no. Crying. What is that?
That is a Jaeger Iron Sight.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
He's trying it out. It worked for Bandit.
Yeah. Okay, I really hope there's something behind it. It's just quite possibly like a mistake here and there, but it's okay. Not gonna be able to do much with it. Pengu using holographic. We'll find the first kill. Corey though, holding on. We'll find one kill. Goga with the refrag and Chaos. We'll find one more on Goga. Rips with one more as well. Kanto Roketi taken away, and now the push from behind. Pengu will find the kill on Veil and suddenly fall back. Jonas with the refrag, and the advantage of 3-2 suddenly lost, all up to Rips. You got Jonas playing the Jackal here, and if you run it correctly with Pengu, you can very quickly spot where Rips is. The fuser's not been set, and look where their Goo Mines are. They're all the way on the opposite end of the map.
So we'll have no effectiveness in this very quick push that we see from G2, moving in and picking up 4 to 5 of the kills at the 2-minute 20-second mark. So basically an infinite amount of time, at least in the context of a 2v1, for the G2 players to work with to try and knock out Rips. Rips will play this, of course, incredibly slowly. As you mentioned, the Goo Mine's not in a particularly good place considering where G2 has gone for their execute. So it's very unlikely that he's going to be able to get any sound intel off of that.
There's a smoke grenade available. The Jackal can use it, and there's a ton of time left. So if you manage your drones correctly, you can easily spot Rips. There you go. And they know where he's at. Now, how will they peek against him? There you go. Jonas just face checks him and running the C7E that already has very fast ADS and quite a bit of damage at this range. You run an angle grip on this, and it is going to be a kill machine.
You could even see it there on the replay, how snappy that was in comparison to what most of you guys at home are probably running on the vertical grip. Definitely increases it, especially if you're an ace with headshots. You only need that 1 or 2 shots and don't have to control the spray from it. So no success for MockIt on their opening site at the double bars. So they'll take it upstairs instead to the most successful site statistically on this map, the hookah and billiards room site, currently with a 65%. We were talking about the pregame defender win rate here.
Now Corey's going to switch away to the dock. It's hookah. No, the Pulse is going to... Okay. Are you going to play the Pulse in double bar? Probably going to do that and then have Cryan playing near him if he's not going to play on the site itself, which wouldn't be too surprising. Usually you'll see the double C4s being played below, leaving the Jaeger on the site with the smoke in the hookah lounge itself. But I'm really curious to see where they actually set up their cameras, because Goga's playing the IQ, which is something he runs and ran fairly consistently. It's going to be very easy for him to shut down all of those shutterbugs that are set in and around the aquarium. And hey, you're going to have one or two of them there. That's just a freebie for Goga. Might be able to give you some information on your opponent's position, but if you're not able to capitalize here, and this is all on Corey, using the cardiac sensor and the nitro cell correctly, then all of this utility will be for none.
G2 once again. Helton will take the front entrance to start things off. Actually, we're going to mess around with the kitchen a little bit here, too, as MockIt are throwing a bit of resistance at them from the windows itself. We have one player on the inside trying to contest out that kitchen window. G2, it looks like they're going to shift away from it, with the exception of Jonas, who will just drone to the inside, try to find the intel, and, of course, look to try and get up close if possible. Start the tracking process and look to isolate out these roamers if at all possible.
Now, Jonas again on the C7E. Now, some people, if you look at, for example, Joystick on Empire, is starting to run the PDW quite a bit. PDW 9, oddly enough, the 9mm does more damage at range than the 5.56 full rifle. Something that people might not know, which is fair enough, but there you go. The more you know, today I learned with Militia Blue. So if you want to play a long-range game, Jackal is a great operator, extremely flexible, and I don't like that softball that's on the side. That really might come back to bite them later on in the round if they're even able to shut down the external play from G2, as right now, G2 are just scouting things up. They spot there's nobody in the aquarium. They're not going to move into it directly. They're going to make sure there's nobody from below to try and capitalize on it. And guess what? Corey's downstairs. The call is going to come in, and that should be able to isolate the pulse as Kanto Ricchetti will push it. Oh my god, Fabian right to the... What? The site is clear!
Wait, what?
What? Hello?
The only good news is that the diffuser is still about a 5 or 10 second walk away, but it shouldn't matter much. KS is going to be moving in. He'll be knocked out, and G2 quite literally just walk onto the site. Corey, a very off position nitro cell. Don't even think he had a scan to support that one. Ends up going down. The diffuser plant coming. We finally see a response from MockIt, but it's too little too late as Cryan picked up that kill against Jonas. They don't even need the Jackal anymore. It's not a big deal. They've already got the site and the plant to go along with it. Now it's just a matter of knocking out these last two. A 1-for-1 exchange, followed up by Fabian to close out the round. Gives it to G2 yet again.
You call it diffuser, I call it confuser. As here, this is total confusion from MockIt. They kind of just evac the site completely. There were two players in there left. You saw the smoke. You also saw, I believe, the Legion that was playing on the top floor by the bar. Fabian got the call, moved in, immediately found the kill. And I have to say it. I mentioned it in the previous map, I'll mention it again. Fabian on the Dokkaebi is scary, You give the IGL so much information, he's gonna make use of it. And that's exactly what they had. They took their time, G2, they droned things out, they put pressure on the bottom floor, the Pulse didn't know what to do in that position, and then just fell back. And it seems like if you're gonna roam against G2, you better be ready for some different tactics to deal with you. They're either just charge right into the site, then hold your angles against you where your C4s can't do much, or they will clear you out first and use all their utility available. And guess what? If you have control of the site, one thing on hookah that you can use to deal with C4s is the fact that you have the pool table right in the middle of billiards room. Guess what doesn't kill you through it? C4s. You plant on the top of the table, suddenly all your C4 advantage is nullified, and there's only a handful of players that are able to, as some would say, thread the needle and run that C4 charge in between the cracks in the floorboard that are already preset by their teammates to try and find the kill on top. It's not something you can rely on, but it's a strategy there, and it did not work out.
So MockIt recommit themselves. Corey specifically taking a moment in the operator selection phase, if you missed that, and deciding if he wanted to stay with the Pulse again, or finally commit to that switch over to the dock. And this time, after changing that selection 2 or 3 different times, ends up finally committing himself to the dock. Finally removing the Pulse out from the defender's side here after 2 rounds with it, and finding, unfortunately, not a whole lot of success. Just too fast of plays from G2 for him to be able to keep up with it, along with the intel game that's coming out against them. And it seems as though G2 as well have realized that the IQ was maybe not finding as much effectiveness as they would have hoped. So they actually bring a hard breacher in instead on Goga, electing to bring the Hibana into the fold for this third round as they look once again to run the gauntlet on the attack here.
So here's the thing. Last year at Invitational, Vale was actually running the Ela, but back then you needed a dedicated Ela on your team. MockIt back then, 1UP, EG, and G2 back then, Penta, all played in the same group. And when 1UP, now MockIt, played EG on, I believe it was Chalet, which is no longer in Pro League map pool, they ended up playing the Ela, which was easily shut down by their opponents on the roam. And you can kind of compare Coastline as well to Chalet, where you have to roam, you have to give yourself the advantage in close-up positions like Kanto Raketti is trying to do with the R4C here. But guess what? You got calls from Fabian and you've got Jonas. And maybe the answer might be a Vigil, might be just stay on the site. Who knows when you're playing against G2? I'm really curious to see where the bulletproof camera even is, and Fabian will find the entry here, takedown. Only ACOG available for the defense. Corey on the dock, shot down.
As well, Fabian going hunting, pretty aggressive push down the western hallway to be able to pick that up. Keep G2 in a winning position. KS looking for a response. Downstairs in the smoke, he has some holes to work with here. See if the damage will bleed through up to the next floor, but right now, not a whole lot being found. The problem is he's already used 2 with 1 remaining. You still have 45 seconds on the clock. It's not an adequate amount of time. G2 will continue to clean up, but Rips and KS will find their appropriate responses, knocking up both Jonas and Kanto to bring it into a 3v2 with a favor towards G2 and the man advantage. But with 30 seconds remaining, that advantage will slowly start to drift away, especially with Rips picking up the next kill on Fabian. Hengu now looking for a desperate leap into the window to just open up an opportunity for them to at least get control of the site. Move from here, but that'll get spotted easily by Rips. The last Toxic Babe will move out. Unfortunately, will not stop a whole lot. Goga moving in from a different position will get knocked down. And finally, we see MockIt onto the board on the third round.
Goga doing a signature Goga move there, which is the counter, the peek, re-peek into a dolphin dive, if you will. Back in the day, and a lot of people call them the good old days. I don't really agree. Back then, you could drop shot. I'm very happy to say that has not been in the game for over a year. Thank you, Ubisoft. But Goga to this day actually does this quite well with the counter peaks, just because of how fast he can get. Especially when he utilizes the 3 speeds to his advantage. Sometimes I'll even do it with an echo, which is pretty darn difficult to figure out. But in this case, with 2 rifles, or 2 SMGs, staring at him in the doorway, there's not much that he could do. And it's a round that kind of just fell apart after an early game advantage. Why? You couldn't use the calls correctly, which is exactly what G2 have been doing so well. Once they kind of falter on that advantage that they've been having in the past, able to rocket pretty darn decently, MockIt are able to claw things back. But can you rely on that? I don't think so.
I wouldn't think so either. So continue the move around the sites as G2 are looking to re-solidify the lead. MockIt looking to find some stability for themselves here. As the one round they have picked up still ends up being a close affair with 2 players tucked into a corner. G2 had slightly more manpower to work with at the end there. We could have looked at that going another way, but finally they slip up. MockIt gets themselves onto the board with their first defensive round. And we head over into the kitchen and service entry for the next round here, where G2 have the possibility to make that very, very aggressive push and very quick plant if they want to try to do it by the service entry.
If I'm not mistaken, this is one of the weaker sites for the defense. I think it's a 50% win rate. At least that's what it was in Pro League. I don't know if... I'm pretty sure Spluck is updating everything throughout the tournament here. So
right now, I have 45.9% win rate for Defender.
Which has gone down from last week's information. So there you go. Because of the flights, I haven't been able to keep up at all data statistics. But there you go. It's even worse for you. And nobody's going to go for Penthouse in this situation. You have to go for the site after winning the double bars. After this, though, however, you'll be able to resend play back up in Hookah.
It's actually worse than Penthouse, believe it or not. got like 1% less than Penthouse, so not much, but
yeah.
slightly less. So it's interesting to see how the stats continue to shift on this site. Pangu nearly biting off a little bit more than he can chew. Opening the hatch right there, opening the floorboards, excuse me. And we'll still be able to go back, chuck a nade downstairs. Don't think it's going to find much, except a few bullets thrown back at him to knock him down about 30 or 40 HP.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the grenade. Possibly a quote-unquote fat finger there. I'm not, because there was no cooking, there was no information for him to play off of, and at least they find Corey here in a kill breaching round used as well to tag the second player. At least they'll get some information on, I believe, the smoke downstairs, KS tag below, and it's all these skins we actually have no clue at times. Who's playing what operator? Cryan will go down as well. Vale and Rips are the last two alive. G2 are looking to capitalize. Vale will find one kill. At least what MockIt can be happy with is that they are on full HP when looking into the 4 remaining players of G2.
Well, for those players now, as the phone calls continue to roll out against both Rips and Vale, the plant is going to be going down. Not that there's much of an obstacle in it now, especially over by the service entry. It's very simple for Goga to just walk right in, throw it onto the ground with pretty much no resistance from MockIt whatsoever. They will regroup on the inside of Kitchen. As you can see, they already have Rips incredibly low at just over 25 HP, but with the Doc alive, there's that potential to heal him back up. They actually do it mid-combat, which leads into a loss, unfortunately. The Doc is not available for an immediate trade. Pengu and Goga pick up back-to-back kills, and once again, restore G2's advantage, 3-1.
Yeah, that's a doctor, please, help me from the mess I'm in. And that's too great of a mess to try and get out from. Unfortunately for MockIt, they fall short, and it's not surprising. You look at the statistics; they speak volumes. And sometimes, actually, most of the time, don't look into just the numbers. Try to understand what the round brought in terms of operators and how they were played. That actually, if you look at the number itself, it gives you an idea of how the round ran. However, once you look at the operator bans, the site, how those operators will actually use throughout the round and what it came down to, then you start to understand why the site fails and why it fails specifically for certain teams and not for others, and against some teams and not against others. Again, the numbers are only part of the statistics, and if you want to analyze everything and really start to dig deeper into the understanding of how the metagame plays for teams against one another, against a different one from another region, we can end up theory crafting and digging into this for literally the next week. Just looking at these two teams.
Very true.
Unfortunately, we don't have that luxury.
No.
And
we have to get on with the games.
Yes, and I think even the most hardcore fans would kind of tune out at that point. But want to keep you in here. And guess what? G2 are definitely keeping in this game. They play the Zofia this time. Moving away from the Ash, they realize that, okay, if we can actually use the Guzmots for a bit more self-destruction, but also the ability to stun lock our opponents, and at least detect where they are, then we might be losing less players throughout the round, and especially if we're going to play the top floor, reaching charge Zofia is definitely something you can look into. So I'll have to ask, once we get into the attacker spawn, to check if Kanto is bringing breaching charges or not.
That out in just a moment, of course, when we do get themselves into it. But once again, MockIt go for the kitchen and service entry site to try and play this out once again.
10 seconds
Notice
left.
they were playing around with their operator setup a little bit. They even had a clash in the pick there for a moment while it was paused, as obviously you saw MockIt taking a tactical timeout for themselves there, but they ended up deciding against that. And they're running with a pretty similar layout to what they had before. It looks like the Rook has been added into it, however, for Vale. So we've got double ACOGs coming in. These guys to try and a little bit of a better advantage in their duels, at least.
Okay, can we check the Zofia for a second, Marcio? He's bringing Claymores. Okay, that's fair enough. It's fine if you're also bringing the sledge. It's possible that Goga is actually bringing the breaching charge in this situation. No, he's bringing Claymore, so I'm completely wrong. But that's okay, because somehow I'm still right. Because guess what? They're bringing the sledge, and they're bringing that Jackal. So a ton of self-destruction for top-down play available for G2. Brought it back. Still a winner.
Obviously banking a little bit more so on 1 or 2 players instead of spreading that soft destruction out, however. So if we do see success from MockIt in the early round, that still could limit G2's soft destruction when they actually get themselves into a position to go for the execute. Pengu will waste no time, however, on that sledge, taking control of the blue bar, just jumps directly on the inside. And now in a safe position. He'll start to drone for the rest of his teammates that are elsewhere on the map. In fact, he decides to bail out of here and rotate around to regroup with the rest of his team.
I'm not sure if he spotted the Jaeger playing upstairs in the VIP. Veil, close angle here being played. And at least we'll keep Fabian's Raider back in the security room. Corey's on his own. Goga will find 1 kill. He rushes in for the second and is still alive. The smoke is not able to kill him. And Fabian will find another, taking down Rips. Veil and Cryan, the only 2 alive. And guess what? You have the advantage. The wall is soft, but the diffuser is on the floor. They're still alive somehow in the back. Yuna's taken out. Goga is low on HP. And Fabian is down on the floor. I'll find, actually, no, still alive. So how much HP does he even have? Oh my.
He's got a 1.
How is he? What?
He's 1. Has to be.
Oh my.
Goga's not doing much better at 2 or 3. So literally a 1 shot away for most of these players. The phone call is out. Goga, Veil doesn't even have time to stop it. Goga with 1 HP will pick up the last kill as well. And G2 once again brute force their way into the kitchen to take control of another round.
First of all, 1 piece of rook armor was not used.
Well, I didn't even notice that.
It was right there in the middle.
Oof.
Which means I think it's time to introduce a balancing change. Ubisoft, if you're listening, this is a perfect time to tune out. Especially in professional play, but in general, if you play Rook and you put down the armor on the floor, this is a suggestion by one of my favorite YouTubers, aka the Killian Experience, for some of the Swedes that know about them here and there.
Actually, you know who that is?
He's hilarious, and Fabian actually really likes him. When you put your Rook armor on the floor, the instant it's deployed, there should be a huge military nuclear attack siren that keeps blaring and blasting out until all of them are being picked up. So thank you very much, Killian, for the suggestion. I really hope this gets added, because even in professional play, protection is not always being used.
Put an air raid siren on it, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. Just really annoy people.
That's yeah.
Also, it only plays to the person that doesn't pick it up.
No, it plays for everyone. So then you either team kill him because he didn't use it. Don't do that, by the way. Or you at least shove him like, hey, maybe you should do that. You know, don't forget about it. But Goga reminding everybody that not only can he plant, but he can also kill in the previous round. IQ, Thermite, no matter what it is, Goga, CCC, I kill, CCC, I plant, CCC, we all win.
Win is very much the name of the game for G2 when it comes to this attacking side. 1 round left. They'll attempt the double bars again. Same to be said for MockIt on their defense, as they're looking to at least put a 4-2 scoreline. So they once again will have a better chance of making a comeback on their own attacking side. Veil gets himself off to a good start, finally catching that early lurk from Pengu, which up to this point has been relatively undisturbed throughout the entire half.
G2 will continue to drone in and realize that there's nobody playing on the top floor in the meantime, as the rest of MockIt have kind of evac the top floor. They can use that to their advantage here on the attack of double bar. At least force one of the players away. Goga, in the meantime, will take control of the cool vibe stairs to shut down rotations. It's also a pretty huge position because there's literally only one other spot that you can use for your rotation. That is a man-made hole that you see in the back of the bar that can be easily spotted for a drone or 2 set up here and there. Fabian will start to move in, and you always see Fabian so far away from his opponents because he's not really needed. He's the one that has to make sure that on his side of the map, there are or there are no calls. And see if he can use that to his advantage. The drone should have spotted the Legion in the back, as Chaos will find 1 kill. Legion on the floor, not for long. Fabian will drop him and at least permanently keep him attached to that floor.
And serves out to give G2 slightly more control to work with. Fabian follows it up with another one, in fact. It'll take him down. Veil's going to start to look for the response soon, especially over by the cool vibe steps. We might be misreading the situation a little bit if he overcommits to the stairs peak. He does, however, see the pressure inside of the kitchen instead. And one of the members of MockIt is also going to be caught out trying to run past the courtyard. Jonas upstairs will be able to isolate him out. Corey finally gets revenge against one of these G2 players by knocking out Jonas, but it's a small gesture. Now in the 2v2, Fabian moving in, picking up yet another one for himself, but Corey also able to knock out Goga. Now mind you, Fabian, despite the fact that he's alone, he's got both of his logic bombs still available to try and use against Corey.
Throws out one smoke to try and push Corey away for just a second. Corey's actually using the bearing 9, which is not something a lot of people use anymore just because of the recoil, how uncontrollable it can get. Fabian will move in from behind the bar, and Corey will find it. Fabian to go down, but finally, MockIt again are trying to find their footing in this matchup, and that's all they wanted. Fabian in the back getting shot down. Unfortunately, not using the logic bomb.
Since they wouldn't work anyway.
Huge. Well, they wouldn't work against
Echo.
the yokai itself, and against the Echo specifically. So there you go. You can't do much against him. You know he's the last operator. You can't really use your biggest crutch, and you didn't even use it early on in the round. And as you mentioned early on, that pick that MockIt were able to find on Pengu was pretty darn huge. It eliminated so much of the soft destruction that was available to try and clear out players in those power positions behind the blue bar or the sunrise bar. And it cost so much manpower from G2 that even Fabian's play was not enough to take the round.
Yeah, so unfortunately that early lurk being knocked out seems to have really stunted G2, but the good news is they won't have to worry about that anymore, at least not until we get to overtime if that becomes a factor, because now they're on defense. We've switched sides, we've reached past halftime, and G2 are going to be starting up on the kitchen as well. They'll go to the site first, play things out from here to see if they can quickly try to run up towards 7. Rounds to close out in a 2-0 fashion against MockIt, which would send them to the lower bracket, and G2 on into the playoff bracket. Reminder, this is a winner's match as well, so the team that ends up coming out of this match will have the high seed when we determine the quarterfinal layout.
10 seconds left.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they need in this situation. G2 are looking for number 1 because of the way the EG have been playing so far.
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
It's really gonna make it so the number 1 seeds just cannot play against one another. And as G2, you want to have the biggest advantage possible. And hey, with the way the group stages have been going on so far, fairly unpredictable, you can give yourself that advantage. It's going to give you something later on, but as Fabian will probably say once he is on stage, doesn't matter who we're playing against. And KS, wow, huge shot with CZ75 just through the window there. I'll find the first kill, and guess what? It's Fabian and the Legion. Huge kill for the start.
Directly in the open too. It might have a chance at one more as well. There is an additional player from G2 on the main stairs. There he is now. It's Jonas sitting at the bottom, but he'll commit to a drone instead of going directly in a bit of a foolish bargain. Instead, we'll play it the normal method here, trying to drone him out first, if that presents itself as an option. You can see that rolling around. Jonas is aware of it. Tries best to not get spotted, but it is far too late. KS will now look to get himself into a position where he could find this kill, but that is probably going to take a while, because the fact that he's going to have to rappel upside down in order to line something like that up. And in the meanwhile, Corey gets spotted out by Kanto. Despite having the floor breached open, Kanto is very much ready for that peek and makes quick work of him to even the numbers out at 4v4.
Crying though will find the second kill. Goga will go down, and now using the holes to his advantage. A huge pick on the Echo, actually. So definitely MockIt trying their best on this attack of putting up so much of that destruction and speed and firepower. You see all the 3 speeds in, but Kanto Raketti holding on to the main lobby. Lamborghini doorway will get another one. Rip's taken away. It's not like the IQ would have done too much later on, but at least Kanto is down, and Cryan might be able to capitalize here on the finisher and the extra kill. He spots the leg of the one rotating away. Can he... I don't know, where did he go? Jonas is still available here and is going to go for the pickup. A Cryan is spotted. Look at this angle watch from the opposite end. Jonas will find the kill on KS. Cryan is on the floor, and they're actually doing it. G2 go for the pickup on the carry rocket. And suddenly, with all the advantage in your way, MockIt are left with only the Habana, literally the most useless operator in this situation, to try and win it out against Jonas, Pengu, and Kanto Raketti. All 3 submachine guns and carbines that are looking down into Vale. He's got 20 seconds to do it, and he might have the fuser, but he's going to need a lot of luck and effort. He already gets sprayed through the wall, and Jonas will finish him off by the desk. Wonderful ability play from G2 as they put yet another round on the board, and just lack of coordination from MockIt to to finish things off.
Down and we'll go, and indeed, a good start coming in there from MockIt with the early pick being found at the window by the main stairs just past the lobby. Fortunately, never really able to follow that through. They committed a decent amount of time to trying to isolate out the smoke, who was also playing on those stairs, but never are able to successfully do that. Then there's an overfocus on the down player, which was Kanto, on the same vigil on the inside of the front lobby desk, where they were eventually able to actually rotate a player in to resurrect him, while at the same time having a watch on the inside of the bathroom that went unnoticed pretty much the entire time he was in there to stop anyone who would attempt to disrupt the resurrection. So nicely done. Very tactically played out once again there by G2. Secure a 5th round for themselves. Only 2 more away now from a closeout on not only this map, but this series as well, to push them forward into the playoff bracket.
All right. G2 with a double reinforcement on the blue bar. Eunice setting up one of them, though, from blue into open hallway. And guess what? He's running a bulletproof camera. Oh, man. So because they're not running the Maestro in this situation, given the fact that he's banned, they'll run 2 bulletproof cameras, which happens, but not too much. But look at where the 2 are being set up. One in Cool Vibe Stairs, just to hold down the hallway, and the other one, as you see by the reinforced wall, this is why they reinforce it, to look all the way down through the window into blue, but also anybody planting right behind the bar. So it's a huge position to run those bulletproof cameras. And Kanto's going to find the first one. Oh my, are they actually running 3 bulletproof? Can we check Eunice for a second?
I think there is a 3rd one that was behind the bar, right?
3 bulletproof cameras.
I saw one when we were on dock right before on Goga. You can
Yes.
see one right behind the bar as well that's sitting there too. So
That's pretty huge. That's information game where you have none. And you know, you sacrifice the smoke, not a problem. You still have Eunice. You still have the ability to run rotation holes because you're running that shotgun and because you have impact grenades from Fabian on the leash.
It's 2 drones that have been eaten up now by the mute jammers. Unfortunately, eliminating out quite a bit of intel the Maka would have been able to otherwise get. And it's certainly not helping their case considering how aggressive and the confidence that G2 is now going to have themselves since they have this 5-2 lead. They're definitely going to be feeling the capability to try riskier plays here. And with the drones being knocked out so quickly, much possibility might be. There we go. That is a big one from Jonas on the 590. Quickly making work of Krine with just a single hit. Rips is also knocked out a moment later, just like that. Still a 2-minute marker. G2 already have a 5v2 advantage. They're working together right now to isolate out Vale as well on the upstairs portion. Meanwhile, KS is trying his best to get something done on the Dokkaebi downstairs. It's not looking likely, as we will see him immediately picked off by Goga on trying to enter the Sunrise bar.
Yeah, they spot Pingu on the run out from Hookah, but that's kind of to be expected, especially since Vale was already holding on to the DJ booth. But that's 1 kill. There's 4 left, and guess what Goga's doing right now? He's playing the medic, and he's putting everybody back up to full HP. Only waiting for the Uber charge here to push into Vale, but so far taking things slow as the strategy goes. When you're winning, when you're ahead, get even more ahead. And right now, the way to do that is to just slow things down. The holes have been already opened up by Jonas's mute from below, and Fabian will use them to his advantage. I believe that was an Ashel, actually, that was open from before. Find the kill from above him, and there you go. VIP shut down. Damn. G2 in complete control, 1 round away from map and match point.
Vale, unfortunately, never even truly aware of that hole as far as I was able to see from his perspective there.
I didn't think he even saw it.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't even think he was aware that it was there, so just quickly picks him off. He had the smaller hole that he was trying to abuse a little bit to get 1 or 2 kills before he would have been forced downstairs via the timer, but just never really got to that point. So again, the operators are going to switch up a little bit in terms of who's playing who. We still have the Vigil in, but it's no longer going to be played by Kanto. It's going to switch over to Jonas instead. He hasn't locked that in, so there's a chance we see it 6 picked out. We'll see that in just a moment as the decision's being made. Kanto, in the meanwhile, has gone over to the Bandit. We still have the Rook and Doc combo making an appearance once again, and Fabian will be sticking onto the Legion. As we get ourselves into this round, it looks like we are going to be playing on the most successful site for defenders, giving G2 the best chance here at Hookah Billiards, where they want to shut it down.
Are they running double bulletproof cameras? Can we check Jonas for a second, Martin? No, he's running impact grenades and Goga with a bulletproof camera. So I'm expecting to run one right in the billiards room. There's where Pengu's reinforcing right now. You can either put it on the wall itself or right next to it. There's a hard wall, basically is the anchor of the site, or you can put it on the bomb itself, which in my opinion is not that great of a position to use it in, but it's all up to Goga to see where he goes with it, and he's going to use it to hold off the hallway. This will make
5 seconds left.
basically flanks, in general, infinitely more complicated for MockIt as there's information
Attackers' objective is
to
locate a bomb
deal
and
with that.
defuse it.
However, MockIt have the perfect ways of dealing with it. Not only do they have the Zofia and the Ash, but also the Twitch that can easily zap that bulletproof camera from the side and take it out of order.
Certainly will be the case, especially if Rips can find himself in a good position to be able to knock that out. However, if it goes unnoticed, as you were mentioning, any flanks or attempts to sweep in on that side of the building will be caught well in advance by the members of G2, and they'll be able to adjust to it in time, limiting MockIt to only that standard aquarium push, which would lead into the site push with smoke supporting them, or obviously moving themselves in from the balcony to get themselves into hookah as well. Would be their other option. It is looking like they are favoring the earlier of those two, at least to start. Still plenty of time remaining, so we could very easily see this changed up later on. However, aquarium reinforcement already going to be bursted open, and they'll start to investigate options to get in here.
Yeah, this is just whack-a-mole. You're not going to be able to find much through it. KS will just walk into the site, hasn't been able to detect or jackal track anybody just yet. Actually, he did use one of his sets of Inox, and are they going to go for a quick plant? Yes, they might be. Goga will boost himself up for extra HP, but Corey comes in from the side. He'll find one kill. They fall right above him, and they'll find the kill. Goga and Pengu both to go down. Cantor Raketti with a refrag on Corey. This is going to be enough. Barbed wire on the bandit here, and they're trying to look down through the holes, but there's one on the pool table, and there's one right next to him. Rips will fire into Eunice and taken out. 4v2 with Cantor finding two. No, on Vale and crying. Diffuser is still not on the floor. KS very close up here, trying to use the hold to his advantage. He'll find the headshot. Canto through the soft wall. Fabian on the rotation with two Gumais now. The second one's being recharged, so waiting for the information. And pings from his teammate. Claymore set on the floor. He'll see one rotating all the way away. He'll find the kill. And it's now a 1v1. Fabian and KS, the former teammates from a year or so ago. Is there any info for Fabian to play off of it? Yes, he does. Spray into the side as the Fuser will be faked off by KS. And Fabian would have loved to have an impact grenade in this situation, as KS will continue to fake as he detects the lesion. And guess what Fabian's trying to do? He's going to bait him into the camera and now gets info on him. He'll brave from behind the wall as the soft wall just being used by both players. KS kind of giving up here and going for that diffuser plant. Goo mines are just recharging and not able to do much with them. Fabian will go for the reload, goes in for the peek. Can he find the kill on the Jackals? Go for the pre-fire. Getting up close and personal with a Claymore in front, but it's KS to win it out. Fabian to go down and MockIt. At least find one. An uneasy victory in that round. They got way too close for comfort, but one nonetheless that they sorely needed.
Definitely speed more than anything being the name of the game there for MockIt, trying to rush the plant through aquarium into billiards as quickly as humanly possible. And they're able to accomplish just that. Not only that, but G2 thinks it's so fast that they wouldn't have had players in position to watch for those trying to push the smoke. So we saw, I believe, at least two additional members of G2 get knocked out during the plant process as they tried to push directly through the smoke setup that MockIt had, and were promptly executed as soon as they came out the other side. So really good stuff from MockIt, a very quick and very decisive setup to get that plant onto the ground as quickly as possible and really just throw G2 a surprise that I don't think they were expecting.
No. All right. How does this play out for G2 though? They're bringing the Valkyrie. A lot of information to be gathered. I like the way that MockIt are trying to play around this. Instead of doing what G2 did on the attack, which is run the IQ, they'll run the Twitch. It's a more offensive way of doing things. The 552 Commando definitely does a ton of damage. One of the highest DPSs actually on the attacking side. But the F2 is still the F2 and putting down a lot of let down range. And the way that the recoil bounces, you can very easily find those headshots. And between players like Rips and Corey even on the attack, you can really get a lot of work done. Goga will set up his Black Eyes here with the Valkyrie. Has a Nitro Cell in hand just in case. Jonas should have one as well. I wonder, actually, if they're running a bulletproof camera or not on either Kanto or Jonas, the two operators, two players that can run such a thing. But again, you're gathering a lot of information as the defense, but you're also denying a ton of it. Use Mute Jammers and use the Vigil to that goal.
The bulletproof camera will be successfully taken out by the Twitch drone, but that's the only thing that's going to get it is sniped out just a second later. I think there still is one more in his inventory to be able to throw out here later on in the round, but getting rid of the bulletproof camera now allows for Corey to make this more aggressive push. They're not going to have exact intel about where he's moving in from, but still ends up walking right into Goga's pre-fire to take out Corey early on in the round.
And guess what? He's got a black eye as well. He's going to set one up as well. I think it got shot down there, but still, it is available. There's more information for the team. And losing out the second, Cryan will go down. Both soft breach are now out of play for the attacking side. Failed to spot one on the rotate, and now is Goga, unfortunately, will go down. Chaos to find him. There's still one more in the back, and I wonder if that's Kenta Ricchetti. No, he's actually closer up, and Pengu takes damage, but is still alive on the Jaeger. He'll actually go for the repeak. Fabian will find one kill, but he runs right into Rips, who looks into him and rips into him. Pengu will find the kill on Vale, as he'll be the one to finish him off, and Yunus for the last one to secure a victory for G2. That's all she wrote. Round number 10, again, a 7-3 in both of our maps, Villa and Coastline. A victory for the reigning world champions of G2 means that they guarantee themselves that position, seed 1 position for the main event on Friday, and then we'll see if they can move on from after that. MockIt, though, if you're a fan of the team, they're still not out just yet.
Yep, quick reminder, guys, this was an upper bracket final match, meaning that the winner of this one, well, I guess they do move on. The loser does not get eliminated.